How's it going, guys, and welcome back. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over why I think that you should give deftness a shot. Now, and more specifically, actually, how I think that you may be underutilizing it or how to use it to the best of its ability, right? So before we get into that, though, as some of you may know, I do like to do unscripted content. So if it does get a little long-winded, I will leave the chapters down below for any important, major topics. Now, off the bat here, when we go to deftness, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Deftness, you move forward input, and your dodge button while attacking gives you a dodge attack. So dodging forward while attacking results in a dodge attack. The thing with deftness, right? Unlike reversal, right? Whereas reversal with the last tier, you can interrupt your own attacks and input reversal as a dodge, right? With the deftness, you have to wait until your animation is done in your attack, right? So you have to wait until those recovery animations are complete, and then you can deftness. So here's an example. So if I attack, I'll give the reversal example first, just to show you, the difference there. So with reversal, I can interrupt my own attack. So instead of having to complete the entire swift attack and then reversal, I can interrupt my attack and I can reversal. With the deftness, you can't do that, right? So I was pushing forward there. With deftness, you cannot do that. You have to complete your animation, and then you can complete the deftness dodge attack. So in combat, you have to be selective, right? That's why during combat, it'll be beneficial to not just hold forward while you're attacking, doing whatever attacks, and just spamming dodge if you get in trouble. If you do that, you're going to get hit, right? Because again, you need to be selective whether you are going to go forward and dodge or whether you need to do a neutral and dodge, right? So that's why, again, when you're fighting your opponent, don't just hold forward and smash the dodge button in case you get in trouble, right? Expecting a deftness. Because if you do, you're going to get hit if you're in the middle of your attack animation, right? Now, before we get into the interactions with deftness and your other skills, I'll say this. I know that just from the gameplay that's currently out there, I know that a lot of people use deftness as a offensive tool, mostly, right? Because it does do a substantial amount of stamina damage. So I know that most people use this skill by just spamming it, right? And just trying their best to deplete their enemy's stamina bar. Now, you can do this, right? Again, you can do this. Nothing's stopping you from doing it. Play how you want. But the thing with doing that is that it is very stamina inefficient. And unfortunately, I think that deftness gets a bad rap for being stamina hungry and stamina inefficient. So much so that I've seen, just the stuff that's currently out there, and I know it's a little dated, but some older YouTube videos when Khazan first came out, and through like Reddit, there's a bunch of stuff on Reddit like this. I've seen people say that deftness is very stamina inefficient, which I don't believe is true when used as intended. I would say when used efficiently, let's say that. And when deftness is used in combination with stamina back skills, right? I've also seen some people say, in giving advice to new players, some even said that you should avoid using deftness in your first playthrough. This is, in my opinion, that's just ridiculous, right? Deftness is a very good skill, and deftness lightfoot is also very good, right? And you would need to use both, or you'd need to get deftness to get deftness lightfoot, obviously. So the reason why I think that, again, it's kind of a disservice as well to new players, and I don't think that and I also think that it has a bad rap is because deftness is meant to be used as in an efficient way as a dodge attack. right? So when you use Deftness as a dodge attack, right, rather than just an attack, when you brink dodge with it, you get the vast majority of your stamina back. So, and in the fights later, to illustrate that point, this is the build that I'm using for these fights. So you can see the only stamina that I'm getting back for brink dodge, and this weapon, by the way, I'm only using this weapon because it's the lowest attack damage that I have. So that's why I can just fight the boss for longer. But, so these fights, you can see the only stamina I'm getting back is from cold blood stamina. So the only stamina I get back from brink dodging is from this skill here. And my stamina consumption, which again, doing the playstyle that I showcase in my videos, I do use Conrad the Swift, right? Which fully upgraded, I think is 20% dodge stamina decrease. Dodge stamina cost decrease. Okay, so I'm at 10.8%, sorry. But yeah, so to further illustrate the point, that's what I did as far as the fights go. This is the only stamina I'm getting back. So you can see when I'm Deftness dodging, I am getting basically the amount of stamina that I have back. In some cases, I'm getting the full amount back. But another note for Deftness is, in the videos you'll see I'm using it as my primary damage negation tool. So you can see I'm using it a lot there. But in normal combat, let's say that you miss, you're using Deftness, or you miss a brink dodge with it and you just get a couple of, of the other iframes. It's okay, because when we're negating damage using our Howling Blade does not consume a lot of stamina at all, right? So when we're in combat and we're negating damage using Howling Blade as well, right, because we're not only using Deftness to negate damage, we are netting a lot. We're actually gaining stamina throughout our Howling Blade combo, right? Because when we negate damage using Howling Blade, it does count as a brink dodge, right? And we're getting stamina back that way as well. So Deftness can be used as a, again, as an offensive tool only, but when you mix it in with your Howling Blade, it is not stamina inefficient. It really is not. And furthermore, so that's kind of what my main reason for making this is. It's to kind of really bring Deftness into the full scope and kind of, keep that bad rep at bay, because really it's unjustified in my opinion. But also, Deftness can be used, and most efficiently it's a dodge attack, but you'll see in a lot of my videos, I use it as a gap closer, right? So I use it to close a gap. If my enemy is a little far away, I'll use it to close that gap or reclose that gap. And again, if I use it in that way, it uses a little more stamina, sure, but I'm gaining that stamina back through other means, such as brink dodging with my Howling Blade combo, or brink dodging with Gust, or brink dodging with Breeze Dash, right? Other than that, so that's kind of, we'll move on from that topic. That's kind of, again, the main thought process around it, where I think it should be changed a little bit as far as, people's perception of it. The other uses of Deftness that I want to go over is its interactions with other skills. So Deftness, being a dodge attack, first we'll go over its interaction with another dodge type attack, reversal. So, and it's very important when you're in combat to keep this in mind when you are flowing through combat, interacting with the boss, enemies, etc. So Deftness, something to keep a note. It can be used from reversal, but reversal cannot be used from Deftness, right? So I can do Deftness, I cannot reversal out of that. But reversal, I can Deftness from that. Another thing about Deftness, spirit skills. You can use Deftness after spirit skills, right? So I use a spirit skill, I can deafness from that, which is really important to know, again, when you're in combat, when you're using spirit skills, from deafness. So then another thing about deafness is the recovery frames are not the best. So if you deafness, right? If you deafness and try to use a spirit skill, it's not going to be really that fast, right? So I deafness, that's me spamming the input. So I'm spamming the input after deafness. It's not that fast at all, right? That's why when you do use deafness, I recommend that you either use a dodge attack after, right? Or you go into a neutral dash. I use that a lot. So it's because it's a really good way to chain brink dodges or damage negation back to back, right? So if I Howling Blade, then I deafness, I can immediately do a neutral dash after deafness, right? Go into a Nimble Blitz, back into Howling Blade, whatever the case. So guys, really, that's all I have on deafness. Just a quick recap. Again, and I know I kind of consolidated the last part just because the last part's really cut and dry, right? Just knowing the recovery frames. After deafness, you want to do an attack or a dodge, a regular attack or a dodge, right? And then again, after or from your spirit skills, you can use deafness, right? But just to recap, guys, other than that last part there, again, just the kind of how it interacts with your spirit skills and normal skills, recovery frames. Deafness, you can use it as an offensive tool only and as a gap closer. I really like to use it as a gap closer, right? And to bridge seamlessly from my spirit skills to my regular attacks, right? But when you do that, you should be getting that stamina back through other means, right? Brink dodging via Howling Blade, brink dodging via, Gust, Deafness, whatever, neutral dashes. But if you use it as your primary damage negation tool, I highly recommend that, just keep in mind that when you brink dodge with it, it's not stamina hungry at all. And again, in the fights later, I got 2 fights for you. One with Gwydo, and then one with the Yeti, I believe. I'll just double check that real quick. Yep, one with Gwydo and one with the Yeti. And you'll see I'm using it just to illustrate the point as my primary damage negation tool. And you'll see, just you can watch it back from the stamina bar. It's really not inefficient at all. So it'll do a good amount of stamina damage. It'll help you bridge the gap in between skills. And it's going to be basically stamina neutral. So on that, guys, if you have any additional questions, please let me know in the comments. And other than that, yeah, hope you guys enjoy the fights, and I will see you in the next one.
How dare you disturb us? Who the hell do you think